Hello and welcome. This is Roofamonger once again, and I'm just going to be providing you a brief walkthrough through the Nobushi class. I'm going to be going through their basic attacks, some of their more unique attacks, the property of the stance, which is somewhat unique to the class, and some other odds and ends. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first up here, we're just going to go through some of the basic attacks. The Nobushi only has 3 attack strings. They are light attack, light attack, light attack, light attack, heavy attack, and heavy attack, heavy attack. Now, in and of themselves, it's not too special. However, there is some properties going on here. So first up with the original triple light attack string. If the second hit hits clean, the third hit is guaranteed, and that will cause a bleed effect. So it is always worthwhile to try to get that second hit in and get a free bleed effect. Secondly, due to the interactions of the moves, every string is cancelable into some of the other properties of the class. So I'm just going to use a basic light attack here. You can cancel it into the unblockable kick, and all these other moves will be going into more detail in a few moments. So cancel the unblockable kick, cancel into the long range stab, and also cancel into the unique stance, which will get its own section. So that is that for the basic attacks, and every basic attack, and that's just not just the lights. Heavy attacks too can be cancelled. You can be in partway into a combo, and that can also cancel. All of them can be cancelled as long as it's one of your basic attacks. And also another thing to keep in mind once the bleeds are being stacked, the Nobushi has a property here called Way of the Shark that you will be doing more damage to someone who is bleeding. Now, for team games, if you're teamed up with a Peacekeeper, it could be their bleed, and you will also do more damage. So now we're just going to go into some of the more advanced attacks of the class. Alright, so next up we're going to go over some of the more advanced moves. First up being the Viper's Retreat. See right there, it's a very long range move. It's quite a bit longer than any other class really gets. And it will also inflict the poison status. Used with care as it's very easily sidestepped, but it's one of the better moves the class has. It's kind of a defining feature of the class is the range. So next up we have sidestep attacks. So not many characters have these, and Nobushi actually has 2. Has one for the light and for the heavy attacks. So if we do a light attack, you'll notice here, dodge to the right, and the attack is right, dodge to the left, the attack will land on the left. So it's a fixed attack. Now for the heavy attack, it's actually quite the opposite, so we're going to dodge to the right, and the attack will hit from the left, dodge to the left, the attack will hit from the right. And next up, we have the kick, and actually before we go to the kick, one thing to mention for the sidesteps is, you want to get as much of the sidestep out as you can before you do the attacks. So look here. So the move is correctly done, but say you want to use it as part of the sidestep to avoid a vertical attack, you would absolutely still get hit as you're not actually traveling that far away. You kind of want as much of the dash to happen beforehand before you go into it. Alright, now on to the kick. The kick is simply you hit the guard break button after any basic attack. And you see here with the glow, it's an unblockable move. It can be side dashed, either way, but it's quite quick. And one of the properties is you will get an unblockable follow-up that is poisoned after it. So it's a really good move to keep in your arsenal. And one more final property that's quite unique to the Nobushi is the move called Swift Recoil, which we'll have right here, Splacey Splacey. Right. So to demonstrate the escape move, we're going to use our friend Raiderbot here with his lovely heavy attack strings to demonstrate. I'll wait for his next attack. Now, right here, see, I just did a backward step, and I managed to get hit. But here we go, once again, a backward step. So it costs stamina, but it'll give you ground to breathe. Now, one thing I will demonstrate when he does his next attack chain, as you can see here, it doesn't necessarily put you 100% out of danger. They can keep coming at you. And if their attacks are fairly quick and your back is to the wall, you'll actually only be hurting your chances of getting out in time. So it's just a quick thing to keep in mind that it will get you space, but it'll put your back to the wall very fast and take your stamina. So with that said, let's go on to the next section. Alright, so next up we will have the hidden stance. It's fairly unique to Nobushi in that not really anyone else has a stance per se. It's kind of like a fighting game style thing. So there's several things that you can do out of it, but the main property is once you do it, as you see here, you move backwards, and the beginning of the move is actually invincible, just like a fighting game. So out of it, you can either do an attack, and keep in mind for the basic attack strings, the hidden stance counts as part 1, or rather the first part of the 3-hit light hit string. So you can go, if you manage to hit someone with a hit, you can go right into the 3rd hit unblockable, which is very handy and good for counter poking. After that, you may also go into the unblockable kick, or, as you're in the hidden stance, you can dash to the side. And as dashing to the side would entail, you can also get your dash side attacks. And, well, as we let the stamina regenerate, one other property of the hidden stance is, in and itself, is hidden. So when you're switching your guard, obviously your opponent will get your indicator. But when you're in hidden stance, they will have no indicator to see. So you cannot change your stance while you are in the hidden guard. But if you quickly switch, they might not be able to fully get what you just switched to. And they will have to just guess what it was. So it's quite a good evasive tool. And part of a big guessing game that the Nobushi will have available to it. Alright, and we'll just go into closing now. Alright, and just to end up the video here, I did want to quickly mention the guard break. So everyone has them, of course, but not everyone's are built the same. So the guard break follow-up here after the initial guard break is this double kick. And you see here, it moves you quite a bit. Like, that's a significant distance for the wall bounce. And wall bounces do guarantee you heavy attacks. Now, speaking of guaranteed heavy attacks, the Nobushi has a guaranteed top heavy attack after the initial guard break. And it does a good chunk of damage. Now, every character, what they're guaranteed after guard break is different. But Nobushi is a slightly bit better off than most of the cast due to this, as their top heavy attack is very damaging. And also, if you are doing the kicks and are fishing for either a ring out and or wall bounce and not getting it, one thing to keep in mind after the kick, a light attack is guaranteed afterward that is poisoned. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So even though Nobushi can't necessarily dash no guard break or anything, they do have a very advantageous positions to get afterwards. So in summation, it's a long range character. The attacks are a bit slow. Like, your basic light attacks are about as fast as like the Orochi's heavy attacks. So you don't want some of the characters necessarily near you. But then again, with the recoil blocking move, the hidden stance, the long poke, you have a lot of moves to keep them out of your grill. So that's kind of long and short of the Nobushi. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to go out and fight for honor.